I didn't know I was being scheduled like an object, until I heard my own name used the way people talk about furniture, casual, convenient, and already decided. I was standing in the dark, groceries in my hands, when I realized Christmas had been planned around me without me. By the time the laughter stopped in the next room, I understood something terrifyingly clear. The people I would have sacrificed everything for had already decided what I was worth, and it wasn't love. Welcome to my YouTube channel Whisper Stories, where silence speaks. My name is Danny, and I am 45 years old, and the moment I learned how quietly betrayal can walk into a room was the moment I stood frozen outside my own kitchen, holding a bag of oranges, listening to my son plan how to use me like spare furniture for Christmas. I wasn't meant to hear it. That's the thing about life-changing moments, they almost never announce themselves. They sneak in between ordinary seconds, a grocery run, a creaky floorboard, a door left half open. Just dump all 9 kids on him, my son laughed. He's got nothing else going on. I stood there, breath caught in my throat, oranges slowly bruising in my grip. He won't say no, my daughter-in-law added, her voice light casual. Dad loves being needed. We'll drop them Christmas Eve and pick them up after New Year's. Free vacation. They laughed again. 9 kids. 6 nights. No question, no ask, just assumed. And in that moment, something inside me, something old, tired, and quietly loyal, finally sat down and said enough. The man who was always there. I've been a father my whole adult life. I had my son Mark young. His mother and I didn't make it, but I made a promise the day he was born, I will always show up. And I did. I showed up to scraped knees and science fairs, to football games where he barely looked at the stands, to graduations where he smiled for pictures and immediately checked his phone. When he married Julia, I showed up then too, helped with the down payment, watched their kids whenever they asked, never complained when a couple of hours turned into entire weekends. When the family grew, 9 children in 12 years, I adjusted, bought bunk beds, child-proofed my house again and again, learned who was allergic to peanuts and who cried if their socks felt wrong. I told myself this was love. I told myself this was family. What I didn't realize was that somewhere along the way, dependable had turned into disposable. The conversation that changed everything. I didn't storm into the kitchen. I didn't confront them. I quietly stepped back outside, set the groceries in my car, and sat in the driver's seat with my hands on the wheel, staring at nothing. It wasn't the kids that hurt. I love those kids, their messy hugs, their off-key carols, the way they call me Grandpa D like I'm something solid and safe. What hurt was the certainty in my son's voice. He won't say no. When did I become so predictable that my boundaries no longer existed? I drove home slowly that night. The house was quiet, decorated already, tree up, lights glowing, stockings hung for children who weren't even officially invited. I sat on the couch and felt something unfamiliar settle into my chest. Resolve. I changed my plan. The next morning I cancelled Christmas. Not in anger, not dramatically. I changed my plan. I booked a small cabin 3 hours away. Snowy, isolated, quiet, the kind of place where mornings begin with coffee and silence instead of chaos and crumbs. I told no one. Then I waited. Sure enough, 2 days later, Mark called. Hey Dad, he said brightly, so Christmas. I won't be home, I replied calmly. Silence. What do you mean? I'll be away for the holidays. Another pause, longer this time. Away where? Somewhere I've wanted to go for a while. But Dad, the kids. You didn't ask, I said gently. You assumed. His voice sharpened. They're your grandkids. They are, I agreed, and I love them, but loving someone doesn't mean being available for anything anytime without respect. Julia got on the phone then. This is really unfair, she said. We already planned everything. I almost laughed. So did I said. You just didn't know. Christmas rewritten. The cabin was small, just 1 bedroom, a fireplace, snow piled against the windows like the world was holding its breath. For the first time in years, I woke up on Christmas morning without noise. No cartoons blaring, no fights over presents, no exhaustion disguised as joy. I made coffee, sat by the fire, let myself feel lonely, because yes, I did, but also something else. Peace. That afternoon my phone buzzed, message after message. Mark, you really left us scrambling. Julia, the kids are disappointed. Mark, this isn't like you. He was right. This wasn't like me. This was better. The aftermath. When I returned home, things were different. Mark didn't call for a while. Then one afternoon, he showed up alone. He looked tired, older. I didn't realize, he said quietly, how much we leaned on you. I didn't interrupt. We just thought you liked it. I liked being asked, I replied. I liked being appreciated, not assumed. He nodded, eyes glossy. I'm sorry, Dad. That mattered. Things didn't magically fix themselves. Boundaries rarely come with confetti, but something shifted. Now when they need help, they ask. Sometimes I say yes. Sometimes I say no. And sometimes I go away for Christmas. The moral: love should never cost you your voice. Being kind does not mean being available without limit. And even the people who raised us deserve the right to choose themselves, especially when they've spent a lifetime choosing everyone else. I am Danny. I am 45 years old. And the best gift I gave myself that Christmas was finally learning that being needed is not the same as being respected.